Hello, everyone. Paulette Henson here, and I am super excited um, to announce I have one of my cover authors, and she's just been extremely supportive in the mission of BWA, and her name is Stephanie Bailey. And so I'm going to bring Stephanie on. Stephanie, welcome. How
Thank
are
you.
you? So,
Good, good.
before we get into that, so I did have a small little medical procedure yesterday, and so I still have this giant band aid. But you know what? The show must go on. So, with that, we're just going to hop into our discussion today. And Stephanie, you pretty much know the journey of BWA. We talked about it even when I was, in the lab putting it all together. And going back to your cover, you did the first holiday edition, which was absolutely beautiful. And so I wanted to dive into how that felt for you to be on the cover of this magazine, and just as an author, how did that open any doors for you? Did it encourage you to do more, to write more? Talk to our audience a little bit about that.
Well, first, I want to say you are still gorgeous, by the way. Even when the shows to go on, I can't even notice because your beauty is just stunning. So,
Thank you.
my
Thank
friend.
you.
Um,
Yes.
and, I have to say, I remember when you approached me about that you wanted to put me on the cover. It was honestly like a pipe dream because it was on my vision board that I wanted to be on the cover of a magazine.
Wow.
And so to even see that vision board dream come true that I had years ago was such a thrill.
Yeah.
I had at that point, oh my gosh, I think all four of my books, maybe three were out.
Hmm.
I have five books, so four books were out. So that was also just another going up the ladder kind of
Right.
right? Like I already have my books coming out, I have books I'm writing on. And yeah, I do feel that being on the cover of a magazine definitely fires, at least for me, to continue to just produce more books out there, to continue my journey as being a self love coach and mentor. And all of that stuff. Like it just really, I feel like when you're on the cover, you're more motivated to say, okay, now people have seen me.
Right.
They see my face. They've seen my story inside.
Right.
So I want to keep giving out and keep producing.
Right. And I totally, you know what, I get that because I was just speaking to an author a couple days ago, and I think that maybe a lot of authors think this way, especially new ones. They think that, okay, I'm going to write this book and I'm just going to put it out there and let it do its thing, and not acknowledging that your book is your business, that you have to promote it. And being in a magazine, it just actually it boosts you as an author, especially being on the cover, because BWA magazine is distributed in 13 countries. So we have people all over the world that can see your book, and it just gives you just that leverage in promoting your book and using that as a tool, saying like, hey, in addition, I was also on the cover of BWA magazine. And so I just wanted to put that out there because some people that are not, they don't want to put themselves out there, like they just want to write a book and maybe be in the shadows, so to speak. You can't do that, right? You have to get out there.
You do. I mean, you, the one thing I can say is fear can get in the way if
Hmm.
you let it. Doubt
Right.
can get in the way if you let it.
Right.
We all have a voice. We all have something to say.
Right.
And the one hit wonders, I'm not going to say that's not great. There's a lot of one hit wonders out there. I
Right.
do feel that if writing is your passion, it's something that you want to continue with,
Right.
continue producing material out there that people would want to hear. You
Yes.
might have a biography, but most of the time we have a biography, there's more story to
Mhm.
tell that we might not be sharing in our entire biography, right? There's
Right.
there's more substance that we can share about our lives or even our experiences out there.
Right.
And being on the cover of the magazine, I mean, this is what you do. I mean, and again, bravos and kudos to you, my friend. It's been just such an inspiration to watch you grow
Yeah.
and to be on this journey with you and to kind of be like in your back pocket, and you'll call me and you'll ask me for advice or things like that, or mull over things. And just to see you, that's another inspiration in my life.
Oh, thank you.
So, I mean, you truly are. You truly 1000% are. And so, I do feel like if whether you're on a cover or you're even in the magazine
Yeah.
and you're being promoted your book or your poetry or whatever it is,
Mhm.
again, that's an opportunity to say, okay, what am I going to do with this? What are my next steps?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we can all be successful in writing and expressing, whether that's for you poetry or maybe painting or whatever it is, or cooking, right? Whatever your passion is, you can be successful in that in multiple ways.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. And marketing is so important.
Mhm.
Um, I developed BWA magazine because authors, there's no other platform. I mean, you can upload your book on KDP and it's on Amazon, but there are millions of authors on Amazon. And so I find that, especially Black women, we are not at the top of the list. The list continues to change. And so we're chasing something that essentially we're not going to be, recognized the way we're supposed to or we should, based on our work and based on our books and all of that. And so with BWA, it is a platform, it is a resource, it's a go-to place for authors, new authors, aspiring authors, and even seasoned authors to get those resources that they need, whether it be, as you were saying, a book cover or a creator, someone that can design a cover for you,
Mhm.
whether it be editing, all types of publishing services. You need an author web page, um, a book trailer. We offer all of that in addition to being in our web on our magazine, and upcoming our newly launching website that is launching January 1st. So we are providing that platform for not just Black women, all authors to have another alternative to promote themselves. And we're providing those resources as well. And so I totally get it because it's like most authors, they think, okay, well, I'm writing a book or I wrote a book and that's all I need to do, just publish it and get it out there. And that is a misconception because that is not all you need to do. You have to go on podcasts, you have to have your website out there, you have to be visible to people so that they can get to know you as an author. And so, and I know that with you, Stephanie, you've been doing all that. You've been on uh, news shows and specials, and you promoted your book in Times Square, and you've done all of these things that you're supposed to do to get your name out there. And you still have to continue it, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't even stop there. Like it's an ongoing process. Would you agree to that?
I 100% agree. It's funny because I'm creating a reel of, you know, just one second. I didn't realize my thing was on. I just don't want this to disturb us.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize my iPad was on. But I was like, why is my iPad ringing? But yeah, like I'm even creating a reel. So I have in my phone all the pages, like all the pictures of like all the books I've done, people holding my books. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
creating a reel to then market next week on Instagram, Facebook, and what's the other one?
LinkedIn.
What am I
Uh,
LinkedIn, and what's the other one? There's a fourth one. Um, am I drawing a blank? It's the one that a lot of people do TikTok videos on TikTok.
Mhm. Yeah.
So again, like you said, it's very important to continue to market yourself.
Mhm.
And again, using those resources, you're literally giving this resource available to people to use to say, hey, if I want to hire this person, or if I want to use this person, or what does this cost for this?
Right.
So there's no reason I feel not to get your book published, and even furthermore, not to continue to market yourself and
Absolutely.
use, your magazine. I mean, BWA, I mean, that's a great magazine to get your voice out.
It is. It truly is. And I'm not saying it just because it's my creation, but I am saying it because there was no place for us to go, to where we can truly be recognized on all channels via
Mhm.
podcasting, the magazine, and now our upcoming website as well. And so I just wanted to put that message out there because most authors, they are doing these things. They have a website, and I'm speaking to those. You have a website, you're going to book events, but you're still by yourself,
Mhm.
and collectively as a group, we can bring masses of people to us and they will see you. By yourself, it's going to cost you even more money to get that recognition, to pay for Facebook ads, and do all of those items that you need to do to promote yourself. And
Mhm.
so, so I just wanted to put that out there. I know that BWA, it's an amazing magazine. We have amazing contributors such as yourself. Stephanie, she writes an article that's in BWA every month, and it's amazing. It just adds to the creativity of BWA magazine, and it allows authors in that capacity, such as yours, that not only are you writing books, but you're writing articles, and those articles are relatable to people, to women in certain situations, and they go back to your book. So it's like a full circle type of ideology that we've created for our authors that love to write, and they
Mhm.
love to write short stories and articles. So just wanted to give you a plug for that because your work is amazing.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you in that. And so you've been writing for years. That's definitely evident in, your ability to write articles that are relatable, that people can, they look forward to reading your articles. So tell us a little bit about that journey and how you got to that.
Well, I had a blog.
Mhm.
I think it was on WordPress or something like that.
Mhm.
I wanted to start writing. A friend of mine at the time said, "You need to start a blog." I started a blog. Through that blog, and I would write things about my drive to work, and if somebody
Mhm.
was annoyed, I was just writing all like whatever subject.
Mhm.
And then somebody saw one of my articles on Elephant Journal.
Mhm.
It was the think managing editor or something like that at the time. And
Okay.
so he reached out to my friend because she was also connected to him on LinkedIn.
Mhm,
And he reached out to her and said, "Hey, do you know her? Because we'd like to publish her article." And
mhm.
so she came back to me. She's like, "Hey, they just contacted me. You need to submit an article." And so, of course, the nerves came up because I'm like, I haven't ever written an article. And so my journey from that went from submitting an article to them, have them come back and be like, we want this to be longer, not just like 200, words or 300
Mhm,
words.
mhm,
And so
mhm.
it really taught me to understand what the process was. And
Yeah.
so submitting it, they did have editors, so it wasn't like it had to be fully edited.
Mhm,
But then my journey brought me to Hub Pages,
mhm.
where I've written over 240 articles. And through that, again, I said to myself, I want to write for a magazine. I
Yeah.
want to write consistently, and the magazines that originally that I was looking at were coming out weekly. So I made sure I wrote an article every single week. Every
Wow.
single once a week, my articles came out, and
Mhm.
I was responsible for editing my articles. So I'd actually had friends that would help me because I didn't know about Grammarly. I didn't know
Mhm.
if Grammarly was even out back then.
Right.
Um, so I was blessed. They helped me to edit my articles. My sister, Devora, I remember when I had submitted an article for her to look at, she's like, "This is great, but you need to have paragraphs." And I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, okay," because I didn't go to school for, literature or anything like that. So,
Right.
or, so through my team of friends, I was able to become very successful. I've had
Mhm.
over, I think, 3 million people that are reading my articles on Hub Pages. And then
Wow.
through Journal, one of my articles, I think, had over 6 million reads.
Wow.
So, you know,
Awesome.
it shows that if you believe in yourself, and like I said, I knew I wasn't perfect with my English or punctuations or things like that, but I
Mm,
had a great group of friends that would look at it and relook at it, and it really helped. So any mistakes that were there weren't really, that wasn't the focus, because people can
right.
write back and say, "Hey, this article just changed my life. Thank
Right.
you so much. Can you tell me more?" Blah, blah, blah. But they weren't focusing on like, you
She
forgot
didn't
this or that, or
understand.
you
Right,
right.
right. Or she
So
didn't
that's a
Yeah.
right. That's a I feel like that's a great way for people to start, is to
Mhm.
find a writing site like that
Yes.
they can get accustomed to getting articles out, understand the process. I had to also find my own photos.
Mhm.
So all my articles, when I started working for Elephant Journal, I decided they're all going to be relationship because that's what I coach on. And then
Right.
that was the same thing I was doing through Hub Pages. And
Wow.
so in both of these sites, you get paid on. So I mean, Elephant Journal is a little bit, they have different standards, but all my Hub Page articles I was getting paid on.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
I
And
love
it
that.
also gets you creative as a writer. I
Mm,
mean, when you think you
yeah.
can't, you actually can.
You can, absolutely. And in my opinion, that just like you said, it makes you more creative as a writer because you're exercising that craft and you're constantly doing it. So you're able to, tap into just about anything to write about because,
Yeah.
you're not practicing, but you're just exercising that over and over again. So that is really amazing. I love that story.
And
Um,
I feel like people should write about what they're passionate about.
yes.
Well, it's like, because then it flows so much easier. Like if you're
Yeah.
passionate about cooking and you want to write about it, because people can hear that in, and keep your voice.
Mhm.
That's another big thing.
Mhm.
I had been invited to be a relationship writer for articles in a magazine, and I
Mhm.
remember I sent my article to her. She loved it. Her team and her loved it. However, when the magazine came out, they had changed my voice. They
Mm.
said things I would never say to another woman in an
Oh,
article.
wow.
And I
Wow.
remember seeing this and I was like, as grateful as I am for this opportunity, this is not going to fit. You're taking the integrity of me and my voice, and you're actually like insulting a woman. I would never say those words to her. And I
Right.
said that wasn't okay because you didn't even get my approval. Like you just
Right.
changed some things. and to spice it up. And that's not like, I feel like I'm pretty spicy alone, let
Right.
alone, like the way you're going
Yeah.
about it, it's not me. So
Mhm.
it's also okay to have your voice to say what works for you and not, you
Right.
know?
Right. And it's good that you spoke up because you have to, if you're in that type of situation, a lot of times with if you're using an editor and you are paying them to not only look at grammar but content, or how your book is coming out, like how it's being perceived. Sometimes editors can go a little bit overboard, and
Oh,
they take away, right? They take away your whole concept.
well,
And
99 Types of Guys, do you remember that book?
mhm, yes.
That my editor, because I would call you and I'm like, he's saying I'm contrite. I mean to be contrite. Like, and he
Mhm.
kept saying, he's like, well, you're being contrite, so we need to change it to this. And I'm like, I'm meaning to be this
You
way.
want
Like,
to be right,
I want,
right.
like, if I'm telling you to keep everything capitalized, there's a reason. Even if you're not, even if editing wise, you're not supposed to do that. This is a funny book. And
Mhm,
so he was very book editor. He was
mhm.
fabulous. I've used him for more than one book, but I literally had to have a talk. And I'm like, I love you as an editor, but I know that this is all capitalized, exclamation point, what that's how I speak.
Mhm,
So once he realized that, then it was more smooth sailing. But
mhm.
before that, he was changing every capital thing to lowercase. He was taking out the exclamation points, taking out whatever. I'm like, that's not, no, that's, you're taking away me.
You know,
So,
and when you say that, because he was a guy, I'm thinking maybe he was feeling some type of way reading it, and it was getting, like, a little bit upset.
yeah, because even his wife was like, that's how it's supposed to be because she's amazing. She's the woman that helps me. So whenever
Mhm.
my books come out, she
Yeah.
blasts it
Mhm.
to, she's my marketing person on that end. Um,
Okay.
and so yeah, but she's his wife and she's like, no, it's supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
Like it's a written by a woman for women about men.
Right,
So
exactly, exactly. So it's like, put your feelings aside and just look
right.
at it objectively, right? So
Right.
that's an amazing story. I love that. So moving on, we're getting close to the holiday season, and this is a time when, uh, if you're not already bundling your books, or having the Black Friday sales and participating in all of that craft events, holiday events where you can sell things, and those are perfect opportunities for you to sell your book, to get out there and be a part of all of the festivities for yourself as an author. I saw a lady who was in a mall, and she rented some space. You know how you can rent space in the walkway areas. And so she had her books out there. She had some little gifts. And I thought it was really cute how she displayed herself as an author. And people were stopping by, and so those are good ideas and a way to take advantage of the holiday, the those moments where people are out shopping. This is the busiest time of the year when people are spending money and buying gifts. And a lot of them, they're not even thinking about what they're spending. They're just buying things. So it's to your advantage as an author to take advantage of this time of year, right? And
Yeah.
to sell your book. What did you think? I mean, I think so.
Another I absolutely agree, and another thing is too is if you have a local bookstore,
Mhm,
go in there as a local author, show them your book. Hopefully, you at least have it on Ingram Spark so that they can purchase your book,
mhm,
depending on where you're going. Because when all my books were coming out, I mean, I had 3 books come out between 2021, 22, and then 23. And
Mhm.
so, they're all kind of like the end of each of those years. So they kind of seem like they were coming out very shortly after another.
Right.
But I also went to like local bookstores. They bought the books from me, the books I had in my hand from me. And they're like, we'll totally display them. We love your books. And so a lot of times if you find those local bookstores or like your local Barnes and Nobles,
Yeah.
they give them enough time and it's on Ingram Sparks that they can order it. Ask for the manager, talk to them, let them know that you are local. And Miranda's who I deal with here, and she's just wonderful. Or Melinda, excuse me, Melinda. She's just wonderful. So,
Mhm.
I already have a relationship with her. And so anytime my book comes out, she's super excited.
Oh,
She's
that's
like, "I'm
awesome.
getting it right now. We're going to put in our store," and that's at the Barnes and Nobles. So
Right.
don't be
Right.
afraid to like walk into like gifty shops that are in your area.
Right.
Especially like if it's small owned business, a lot
Mhm.
of times you talk to the manager, they'll want to carry your book, especially if it
Right.
works for what they sell in their store.
Right, or if
So
it's
yeah,
an
there's marketing.
enhancement. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Also, with libraries, libraries are a great way to, promote yourself as an author, to even especially for those of you that are writing children's books. Um, you can connect with the head librarian, let them know that you're a local author. You want to do a book signing. Maybe you want to do a
Mhm.
reading, especially all libraries. I would hope all libraries in our nation are hosting events and readings for kids. I know that the ones that I have visited, they have a calendar and they have usually every week, if not twice a week, there's opportunity to bring your little ones to the library and they do storytelling. So
Mhm.
if you're a children's book author, that's a great way for you to get your book, read your book to kids. And there's their moms and dads, grandmas, they're sitting right there with the kids and they'll buy your book, right there from you.
Mhm.
So those are fun. Those are ways for you to get out there. If you have a YouTube channel and you're reading your book, your kid's book, then you can develop followers. So there's all kinds of opportunities and ways to market yourself as an author because I want to say that that's one of the biggest challenges that authors face is the marketing. After your friends and family purchase your book, then you're like, okay, what do I do now? And
Mhm.
so that's why we're talking about this because as Stephanie said, you have to get out there. You got to publish your book on Ingram Spark as well as Amazon. Ingram Spark will allow you to, um, they'll allow other vendors across the globe to find your book. And they can purchase your book like Barnes and Noble. They've already have your book listed on their website and so it's the connection is already there. You just have to
Mhm.
go to that specific place that's near you and make a connection with the manager. Let them know who you are, that this is your book and get on their calendar so that you can get that book signing or get a number of book signings when they have events. For myself, as a magazine publisher, those companies do not support magazines for book signings or that type of thing. So, for us as a company, we're using other means of promotions and we're, looking at businesses and places where people are um, congregate, whether it be like train stations, airports, that type of thing, cruises where
Mhm.
people are there and they can have an opportunity to read. So it's understanding your niche market. Who are you marketing to? What age group? What type of people are you looking to purchase your book? So we want you to keep those things in mind,
Mhm.
and connect with other authors, see what they're doing, and, keep yourself around people like that so that it'll generate those ideas, right?
Yeah, join BWA if you're not already a member on Facebook and social media. Also join other, like you said, like-minded. Like I have a
Yeah,
lot of groups I've joined of, empowering women
yes,
groups just because that's what I believe in, that's what I stand for. And so kind of scroll around, see what
right,
works for you. If you're a poetry writer, get into poetry groups. If you're a children's book writer, get into children's, book groups as well. I mean, that is definitely, I would say, the best advice. Like, you definitely wanna get into those groups because you never know what connections you're gonna make,
that's
right?
right,
And a lot of times those groups will say, "Hey, if you've written a book, post it in our, page," and so you wanna be able to get that extra exposure.
right,
There's so many
right.
writing groups and, avenues out there. I don't feel like you can ever have enough. So,
No, there are hundreds of groups out there. Black Women Authors is one of the groups, but there's so
mhm.
many other groups, and a lot of the people kind of exchange. They're part of all of them,
Yeah.
just so that they can get their name out there, they can grow their following, and so I think that that's great. And so as you and I, we have a connection. We can just talk about writing and all of this all day long. Um, it brings me up to my next subject. So it is holiday time. Everybody's got Christmas on the brain. But you know what's major in our life right now is artificial intelligence. I mean, it's huge. There's so much talk about it. And for us as authors, how does that impact our life? That's the real question. Um, it's as we know it, AI is going to eliminate jobs. And so being a writer, writing books, maybe you're wondering like, okay, this is the opportunity for you to be an author. If you're thinking about it, you definitely want to continue your quote unquote side hustle because AI is going to eliminate hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs as we know it. And so, with that said, BWA is hosting a three-part AI series to educate you as an author, entrepreneurs, everyone, anyone who has some sort of question about what AI is and what it's going to do, how it's going to change our lives as we know it forever, then you don't want to miss our first webinar series. It's called How AI Stole Christmas. And so, what I'll do is I'll share um, the flyer that we have. Not sure if I can scroll through that, but AI is definitely is something that we have to, whether you're ready for it or not, it is here and it's not going away. It's only going to continue to increase, and it's going to affect us as writers. And so it's something that we can adapt to it and we can use it to help us in so many ways. Um, especially with research when we're researching a topic and to write about in our books. And instead of, going from website to website, Googling and all of that. So we're going to show you. Myself and our keynote speaker is Mike Johns. And who is Mike Johns? Wow, this guy, he goes back to ringtones. He was one of the first persons to develop ringtones with celebrity voices, and all that whole thing when cell phones were hitting the market, and the next ideology was ringtones. And so he is a super techie type person. He is now onto this AI, and he's educating schools and kids and people on, the impact, so that we can be prepared for the next step, like how we can use it to our advantage. So I encourage you. I will be sending out a link on this, or the web page, to those of you that are part of our email list. I'll be posting it on our Facebook group as well as our YouTube channel, so you don't want to miss it. It's December 26th, the day after Christmas, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So usually the day after Christmas, we're all just kind of like, sitting around having maybe a couple of cocktails and just like deflating from all of the Christmas celebration, right? So this will
Right.
be a great time to, you know, listen in, get some really, really good information on, what next year is going to look like. So I encourage you all to check that out. Um, what else did we have going on? We did mention our website. Our website is launching January 1st.
So exciting.
I'm so excited. It is beautiful. It's amazing. We will have packages set up. We have two packages, one to be in the magazine, and it includes your promoting on our website as well. And the other one is just website only. So, those of you that are authors, new authors, and you want to get that digital presence, or if you want an author webpage, you need to think about your brand and developing a brand for yourself, to get yourself started in that promotional line of work. So I encourage you to check us out. Um, all of this information, as I said, we will have it within the Facebook group. We will have it on our LinkedIn channel, Instagram, and TikTok as well. So um, I look forward to seeing you all there. And Stephanie, anything that you want to tell our audience as we close off today?
I would just say, just keep your focus. I know it can be discouraging. People say, my publisher says that when you have a moment, right, where you just don't write, it's called writer's block, is what I call it. She said that writer's block doesn't necessarily exist, or she doesn't think it exists.
Right.
I have had it. I've had it where I just will stare at something and nothing comes out. And then
Right.
I'll try to write, and I'm trying to write and nothing comes out. And then I walk away, and whether I go, to California and see the ocean and see you, Paulette, or if I don't know, just am in a different place or whatever that is, don't give up, because the words will come. And when they do, make sure in that space where you can really focus. Because a
Right.
lot of times if you have that thought and your concentration goes another way, you might lose it. So
Mm.
carry on your phone. You have your notes in your phone. You can press your little microphone and talk in there if you're driving and some ideas come up, or something comes up for you. But
Mhm.
just, my biggest thing is, don't give up on your dreams, because I can attest dreams can happen. I
Yeah.
never gave up. I put them aside when my first book, 99 Tips of Guys, wasn't getting picked up by a publisher. I was like, that's okay. I'm going to put it aside. And I'm actually glad I did. I feel like the timing of when it did come out worked.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, I
yeah.
agree. Thank you so much for saying that, because as I said, I spoke with an author over the weekend, and I was coaching her on, just some ideas on what to do. And but she had a misconception as to, just writing her book, and she was just going to let her book sell itself because it was a good book. And of course, all of our books are good, but nobody knows you, and your book cannot sell itself unless people know about it. And so that was the connection with me trying to, and as I was giving her a marketing plan, as I was talking about the things that you need to do, she was, the look on her face, because we were zooming, the look on her face was, she just felt defeated, and she's like, oh my god, I feel like I want to give up. And so when you said don't give up, that's exactly what, don't give up on your journey. You have to put work in, you have to get yourself out there. A book is not going to sell itself by itself, because you're the author, and people connect to people. And so once they, when you come on a show like the Authors Lounge, or any other podcast that's promoting authors, you are then talking, and people are able to connect with you, and then they are look to your books. And so, and I, what I'm saying this because I think a lot of authors have this conception that, oh, my book is good, it will sell itself once people read my story. But how are they going to read your story if they don't know who you are? Right.
I mean,
And
you only get a couple of people, right, Paulette, to
right,
read the story. There's so many people in the world, right? So it's
right.
like you might just be reaching a small little audience, and they
Yes,
might love their book, but just say, I love somebody's book, and maybe I only have one friend. I'm not really spreading the word, right? And I mean, I
right.
think we have this conception that, like, oh, if my book gets out there, then everybody's gonna love it. But like you said, how is everybody gonna, I'm sure everybody's gonna love it, but how is everybody getting to know about it? So
Exactly.
you
Right.
have to have a goal. You have to have goals for yourself and
You do.
plans and support, like what you're offering to
Mhm.
people, like this plan of like, okay, here's our marketing. This is the package that we're offering. It is
Right.
important.
Right. It definitely is. So if you are that author and you're thinking that, I'm just going to let my book sell itself, because one of her questions to me was, how do I sell 5,000 books? And that's my goal. And how do I do that? Because just going to book events and setting up a table, she was saying, I'm just breaking even. I'm just barely making the money back that I spent on the table, from, like, I don't know, from 50 to $200. So when I was hearing that, I was thinking, okay, that's just one way of selling your book. You have to use as many channels as you can to promote your book. You have to develop your brand name. You have to develop an author page. You need an author website. You need a book trailer. You need every tool that you can get to promote yourself as an author on every platform, not just Facebook, not just Instagram. There's plenty more. There's BookTube on YouTube. Um, Gosh, there's TikTok. Like you said, there's LinkedIn. So you literally, it's a mission, for you to attract as many people as you can to get the word out. I want to say the difference between celebrities and celebrities that write books is the fact that they're celebrities, so that thousands of people know them from XYZ movies. So
Mhm.
that's how they're able to become like the next best-selling author, or maybe they are a political person and they've written a book, but thousands of people know them. And so then the news picks them up and says, hey, this is Senator so and so, and he just wrote a book on whatever. And so they're promoting the book automatically. Go out and get his book. New York best-selling author, blah blah blah. We don't have that. We don't have that gateway unless you are a person of interest that where you have thousands of followers, what have you. So keep that in mind. Always know that you need to always market yourself. Think of companies like Walmart and Target. They are advertising every single day, all day. I don't care if it's the same message, the same whatever it is that they're promoting. In some cases, you can remember the jingles. That's how much they're advertising. So we kind of have to use that same methodology to get our name out there, to get our books out there. So, with that, I thank you all for watching us today. I've always enjoyed having Stephanie on and chopping it up with her. She has some great ideas and just great stories on, how she has progressed over the years as an author and has made that, somewhat of a full time venture that she does along with her coaching that she does. And so, as all of us, we're not just doing one thing, we're doing multiple things. And so, but we're promoting ourselves as well.
Mhm.
So with that, thank you all for watching. Stephanie, thank you for being a guest today. Thank you for your support in BWA Magazine. And so I can't wait till we read your next article for January. I know
I
you've already.
submitted it last night.
I saw that. So if you want to read one of Stephanie's articles, she is in the BWA holiday edition for December. And I want to say possibly our ministry magazine as well. You can check those out. We do have them on digital platform, digital copies, so you can get those or the printed copy on Amazon. So thank
And
you
thank
all for watching.
you, everyone.
Yes, we'll see you
Bye.
next time. Let me